Three women break down.
Three women break down life as mothers, wives, and boss bitches, all while keeping it together with coffee, duct tape, therapy, smut books, and each other.
Get the kinks out with us.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Kinks Out. We are joined today by someone you have heard us talk about dozens of times. She's written a few of our favorite books, such as Tangled in Tinsel, Filthy Little Pretties, 3 Ways to Mend a Broken Heart, and Truth. We are excited to welcome Trilina Pucci. Trilina, thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me. Even if I'm late.
It's okay. It's all right. We obviously, we won't share why you were late, but we're excited. And whenever you share it, we're going to be like, woot, woot, we knew, bitches. So yes, you're worth the wait.
Thank you.
We always start our episodes when we have guests on with we're changing the name. So we got to interview Katie Van Brunt. She wrote this book called For the Plot, and it's awesome if you want to check it out. But when we were doing the questions, we were like, oh, our rapid fire questions are never rapid fire. So she changed it to slow burn. So these are now our slow burn questions because there's nothing rapid about this shit with us.
Based on that alone, because that's genius.
Right? So spot on brand. So Shug always does these slow burn.
I do the questions because I do not read books, so I will not be able to ask questions the rest of the time.
It's true.
So they assign me something that I can handle because I will have no input for the rest of the episode. I will just be silent. So
no, she comes in with gems and she doesn't give herself enough credit because all of a sudden she'll have something to say and you'll be like, well, fuck me. Like that was okay.
It's true.
But it will have nothing to do with what you're talking about.
Also
just something
true.
Completely different. Yes.
Also
okay.
True.
Let me get myself together for my assignment. Last book that you read.
The last book that I'm almost okay. So I'm not finished with it yet. So maybe I won't talk about that. But I'm going to give a shout out because I'm in the middle of it, and it's Greenlight by Jessie Hall.
That's in my TBR, but I'm nervous.
Oh, good. It's not what you think it is. It's not remotely. It's like a mystery and a stepbrother, and it's so good. And it's true bully. He is toxic, and I'm here for it. Mistreat me, like it's so good. And then, but before that, I was going down like a rabbit hole of Rena Kent just because I saw these text messages on TikTok that were so funny, and I was like, "Who are these characters? What is this marketing? Because it's genius. I want to go buy this book." So I did. I downloaded the book, and
which one?
I read way out of order because I don't care about that. I don't actually care about the plot. Figure it out. I started with God of Malice, then I went to God of Fury. Like I think it's like the second to last one. No, that's the male. That is the middle. I went to the other one, God of Wrath first.
Okay.
Then God of Fury, and now I'm on. I don't remember God of something. Who knows? I don't
know
anymore. They're just all so terrible, and there's just something. Honestly, it's what I love about fiction the most. There's something about the fact that I can read a terrible, like, oh, you're a psychopath. Oh, yeah. The doctor said you actually are a psychopath. You like to serial kill people. We're in love. Dun, 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 dun. Like, I don't know what's wrong with me. Okay.
But we're exactly the same. It's fine.
And you know what I'll say? 10 out of 10 for Rena. I'm going to give her this because I'm usually really hard on books when I read them just because it's like a waiter going to a restaurant, right? Like you start. I wouldn't. Maybe I'm just a dick. I don't know. But like I think about stuff like when I'm reading and I'm like, oh well, or like I would have phrased it like this or whatever. It's hard to get out of your head. So when I can read someone and they make me get out of my head and have me kicking my feet, then I love them. And I did that with her books, and I did that with Jessie Hall's too. Like, wow, Chef's Kiss.
I like her books, yes.
Yeah, there's just something about when people can write a dude and they really lean into it. Like, it's not like you're not wearing that out. Rena Kent's dudes are like, you're not wearing that out, and she's like, yes, I am, and I love that because I'm like, here it comes, right? He doesn't like fuck her so hard that he rips her clothes and then she's like, oops, now you can't wear them, and she's like, whatever. Or he like lets her wear it out and then makes her miserable the whole time and keeps her like horn dogged, and she's like, I'll never wear this again. No. He burns all her motherfucking clothes down and is like, here are my gym shorts, have fun.
Yes.
Sir, I am sad. That is passion.
Oh my god.
I'm so here for that toxic shit. So yep, those are the two last ones I've read, like God of Everything, and then
God of Everything.
and then Jesse Hall's
I need
Night. Mm-hmm.
all in my TBR. All right, I gotta do it.
Yep.
Love it.
You've
Love
convinced me.
it.
I think I read God of
Wait for it.
Malice.
I want text messages because you're gonna vibe. You're gonna be like, what is happening right
You'd
now?
be like, what?
And the
Yeah.
way that you're gonna be like, I just want to put a ring on my finger. Like,
See how rapid fire these are?
Yep.
Yes. All right. Last song you listened to.
the last oh shit.
Yeah.
The last song I listened to was Heading South by Zach Bryan. And before that, it was You Look Like You Love Me.
I'm obsessed with that song right now.
That's Gigi's song.
I love country music a lot.
Same.
And so it puts me in like a vibe. And so I like to listen to it. Because I also feel like I think I just like toxic things. Like almost every song is a little bit toxic. And I'm there for it. You know what I mean? Like it's good for writing. It just like feels like perfect. I don't want to say elevator music, but it feels like perfect elevator music. Like I can come up with it and just keep writing. And yeah. Until I get into like really specific parts of books, and then I listen to specific songs to keep me in the mood.
Now, do you listen when you're writing, or is it just like your daily life that you...
No, so I listen to music all day, all night, like from the minute I wake up until I go to bed. Because, I used to be a professional dancer. So like music has always been like a thing. Like it's been in my, like it's so much about who I am. So like I still can't listen to songs without like choreographing to them. It just doesn't happen. I always think of like moves.
Oh my God, that's me.
Like, I don't think I'll ever do it. But now I listen for like a book will get a theme song. And that's all I'll listen to all day, all night. I love your dance moves. I can see you.
I'm just dying because she was like, oh my God, that's me. And I need to know, Shog, do you have any dance training that I don't know about?
No, but in my head I can do like flips and like
yeah, that's where I thought was going.
I'm like a kid who will be like, and that's a flip. Like I just dip that.
And then she throws her back out. So
I just hurt my neck doing that.
I 100% knew that that's where that was going. Was that she was like, I am a professional dancer, but really she was just like,
listen, we all are on the inside. It's fine.
Oh, that's
in
funny.
6th grade. I got voted girl with most rhythm.
What's that?
In the 6th grade, we're proud of you.
Yeah, in the 6th grade, girl with most rhythm. Hey. According to the gym teacher, I think she just felt bad I was bad at everything else. So she told me that.
But look what's happened. You carried that your whole entire life is like a badge of honor.
Exactly.
You never know.
It's the only nice thing that gym teacher ever said to me, so I had to hold on to it.
Carry it in your heart forever.
She's like, I have the certificate right over there. Just wait, I'll show you.
You don't have your master's. You don't have your master's diploma on the wall. It's that certificate that you received in 6th grade.
And it's like best rhythm.
It would be on a napkin for sure. They're like, this girl, it was the picture I sent you from my 6th grade dinner dance. She was like, this poor girl looks like a grandma, so I'm gonna just give her a compliment.
Well, now we need to go out dancing.
You look
I don't think we do.
Jitterbug. Best rhythm.
Jitterbug.
How funny.
Oh my gosh.
That's funny.
Okay,
Oh,
last thing that you drank? You drank? Like, what she drank?
I mean,
like,
Drink or like, like what did I just have to drink? It was water with lemon.
Yeah, what was the last thing you took a drink of?
The last thing I took a drink of was my Stanley Cup, which has water and lemon. That's it. It's boring.
that was
Solid
an easy
choice.
question.
The drink I had was a delicious. I have the exact same one. It just has my name on it. The last drink I had was called a Southern Peach, and it was like, it's like, think of like how you make a mojito where they like muddle it or whatever. I just made that motion. It looked like I was giving myself a fucking hand job. You know, they muddle like the leaves or whatever.
Yeah.
Mint.
Right. They do that with the peaches. So you have these little
Ooh.
right. It was like a snack and a drink. And so it's perfect because every time I get drunk, I just want to eat. So I was like, this is a perfect marriage of a drink.
2 in
It
1.
was so good. And it had bourbon and some peach, I don't know. It was just so good. I need the recipe.
Oh,
Oh, can we like post that on our page? We'll call
Right?
it Trilina's.
You know what? I'll send you the link to the place. Maybe you can find the recipe because it was so good. And I
That'll
will
be
not
your
lie
drink.
that I drank a lot of them. A lot of them. To like,
That sounds really
I
good.
might have been dancing on tables that night. That's not
I hope you dance on a table later.
Yeah, you deserve it. Have a couple of those today.
Listen, there's a good chance. First, I have to host a 10-year-old play date at like 3:30. So
Ooh.
that's what exactly. That's what
I also have a 10-year-old, so I'm like, ooh.
And she's a Virgo. She is like a 10-year-old Virgo is a whole new experiment in people.
I have a 10-year-old boy, and he's a lot.
Listen, we went to last year. My daughter was going to her homecoming prom. My oldest. She's trying on dresses. She says, Charlie, that's the 10-year-old. Me and Charlie are sitting there watching her try on dresses. And she's coming out, and I'm being the mom that I am. I'm like, oh my God, you look beautiful. You look so pretty. How would you wear your hair in this one? Can you see yourself next to it? Blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm going through the whole thing, making it special because I'm loving this moment. She looks at me. She's like, I do look good? And I was like, it looks beautiful on you. She looks at Charlie, and she goes, how do I look? And Charlie goes, it's a choice. Yeah. You want fucking good self-esteem? Don't talk to Charlie. I was like, really? And she's like, I mean, everyone makes them. It's a choice.
Stop.
And I was like, what? How did I... Like, I am not that... Like, I'm not that way. Where are you getting this from? Your father doesn't even speak. Like, I don't understand where you're getting this from. Because, like, I feel to polite. People are like, do I look bad in this dress? I'm like, you're so beautiful and all bodies are beautiful and you're such a gorgeous person and it shines from the inside out. Like, that's who I am as a person. So how Charlie's like, your ass is big. Like, I don't know.
I feel like Charlie and I could be friends because my 10-year-old son came downstairs the other day in an outfit that he had kind of put together himself, and he's very athletic. So it was all athletic gear, but none of it really went together. And he was like, how does this look? And I looked at him and said, that's a choice.
Saying what's in our heart. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a lie. She'll never lie to you. It's just like, I need to teach her tact. You know what I mean? Like, please.
Perhaps you can give her and I a lesson together. Because I literally said, like, okay, that's a choice to him.
That's funny.
I feel like we all need a Charlie in our lives. We all need someone who will give us,
She's one of my favorite people. She keeps it real all the time. We have this rule, and I'm sure that everyone's going to now message you once I say this, because I'm going to say it anyway, but like, people are going to message you and be like, Trilina's a terrible parent. I'm not. We have this rule that I tell her all the time. Like, you talking about people, gossiping about people, because, she's at that middle school age, like they're going into middle school, so they all like to talk shit, right? So I'm like, let's get that down. It's mean-spirited. It always turns mean because the group effect becomes like super violent.
Yep.
So I'm like, here's my rule. You keep your mouth shut when you have the intrusive thought that ooh, should I say that out loud? I'm like, I know you can feel it. We all feel it. Like, should I say that out loud? I'm like, don't say it out loud. Store it deep down inside. When you get into the car, you can spend an hour sitting. When that girl gets into the car with me, she's like, listen to this. She wore these shoes today. And I was like, why are you wearing those shoes? Because they were ugly yesterday. They're ugly today. And the girl fucking goes off for like an hour.
It's like she holds it in all day and she just has to let it rip.
But like, seatbelt going on, she's like, Mom, click, click, click. Like, she can't wait. We can't even get out of the parking lot before she's like, and I don't understand why she wears the same bow in her hair, because she doesn't have enough hair to wear the bow. Like, like, just rips everyone. And she never moves for anyone. She's so rude. Like, move over. No one can see through your big fat head. Like, she is. She goes off. And I just, the whole time, I'm like, really? Oh my God. And then we get home and she goes, but you know what, though? Everyone's really cool. We're all doing our best. That's how she always ends it.
Stop. Really cool. I'm upset. I think she might be my new best friend.
Yeah.
That's always.
And I like cry every time she says that. She puts her hands up just like that. She's like, but you know what? We're all doing our best. Like, and
I think
even with your big fat head.
Grown up. I might be grown up Charlie.
Dude, I'm telling you, but then I love you because I love her, and it fills me with life. Like, and I think that's why, like, she has aspects of my personality, and they just get like bigger and bigger and bigger because I hear myself going, guys, we're all doing our best, okay? But I'm saying that sarcastically sometimes, and I think she's just figured out what I'm meaning sarcastic and what I'm not, and it's come out in like spades with that one. Yeah.
That is hilarious. I very much understand that because I say like to my husband all the time, like we very much try to like stay out of drama in all sorts, and our kids are active in a lot of things. So it happens even as adults. So we'll come home and I'll like start spouting stuff off, and he's like, honey, you gotta be nice. And I was like, that's why I'm only saying it to you.
That's right. That's right. I feel like we should all get more credit for the shit we don't say.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I keep my mouth shut a lot. Like, I'll look at you like, for real? Like, and then I just stay quiet. I'm like, okay, I'm going to say that later in the
I'm like,
car.
all right.
Could you believe she said that shit? Like, see, that's where she gets it. Now I know. That's right.
I'm like,
not fall.
it's a choice.
It's
a choice.
Oh, I'm going to use that in one of my books. I already wrote it down to use it because sometimes she says these lines and I'm like, absolutely. I derail our book conversation. Sorry, go ahead.
Hey, you're good.
Slow burn.
Slow burn.
Slow.
Do you even remember where we are, Shug?
It was the drink. What's the last drink?
I thought we had moved past this. Okay.
She's like, we weren't even here anymore. Oh my God.
I'm not gonna lie, I was like floating in the
Listen.
the sky for a little bit there.
The other day, Mars was telling the plot of this like cottagecore age gap nanny romance, and she's like, they're in the French countryside, whatever. She's going on about it, and then Shug comes back and she goes, "Wait, are we talking about the Despicable Me 4 plot?" And we were like, where the fuck have you been? We talked about that movie 30 minutes ago. We're on a whole...
Yeah.
If you were in my brain at all, like, it's such a scary place. Like, anytime that anyone starts talking, I was literally just on the moon as Olivia Rodrigo floating through a stadium during that whole conversation.
Oh my God.
This is why we keep her around. I can. Do you need me to? Do you need me to take the reins?
I'm good. Last thing that you had you laughing so hard you almost peed yourself.
Yesterday when I got caught by my landscapers humping a pillow.
Jean shared this story with us. And
I was like,
guys.
You guys, I mean, honestly, like, okay, so, like, 2 days ago, my agent says to me, I really need you to broaden your social reach, like, and I was like, well, how do I do that? I've been trying to do that for 5 years, like, you have a secret formula? What do I do? She's like, I just need you to be myself, and I was like, that's not a good idea, because I am myself on a daily basis. Like, I say,
that's not a good idea.
I just walk into walls, like, I don't even know what I'm doing half the time, like, I'm like, we don't want me to be myself, if I'm myself, people are gonna be like, is she okay? Like, no. That's the answer. No. And so I was like, I don't think so. And she's like, stop doing the training videos and just talk to your audience. And I was like, I can't do that. Like, what am I can't do that. And she's like, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. So all day I was trying to figure out stuff to talk about. And I was like, I am not interesting. I woke up. I talked to myself for 10 minutes in the kitchen, like literally talked to myself for 10 minutes in the kitchen trying to figure out if I should make avocado toast or not. Like, that's not an interesting fucking conversation. I just look like a psychopath. Like, I'm not talking to myself. I was like, this is not fun. And so I come into my office and I was like, let me just write and do that, because that I can do, right? So I'm like, put it out of sight, out of mind. I'm sitting here and I'm writing, and I get to the scene that I'm writing for the new book that's coming out, Scrooged, shameless plug, that is, but it's with Alec and Samantha and Jace. And so they're in a chair, and I'm in my head, like, how do I put myself, like, where does Jace go if he's the one standing? And like, Alec's in the chair, Samantha's straddling him. Where does Jace go? Like, how much of like a squat does he need to be? Like, is he like, what kind of quad strength do we need? And like, really, what position does he have to put his leg up on something? How does he get a ball in this girl's guts? Okay, like, how are we doing this? So I was like, I don't know how to Eiffel Tower people in a chair. I don't even know how to Eiffel Tower people. Let's be real, okay? Like, I have regular people sex, where you like have sex in the amount of time that Law and Order finishes and begins again. Like, that's I fucking want I'm doing, you know? So I'm like, how do I do this? So I'm in my office, which you all see that there's this huge window, right? To the left of me. So I'm sitting there and I'm trying to figure out, and I'm squatting down. So I put a pillow on the chair and I'm making like a thrusting motion kind of just in my head. Like I thought it was in my head, but it was going through my body. And I was basically like air humping a pillow. And I was just trying to figure out how low I'd had to get to like be in there together, right? And then all of a sudden I hear a fucking leaf blower kick on to the side of me. And the way that my head, I mean, I think I gave myself like whiplash. Like, I'm not kidding. Like my neck hurts so bad because I was like, and I look over and there's this fucking dude standing in my yard just holding a leaf blower staring at me. My eyes locked his eyes are locked on mine.
Oh, it happened.
He's looking at me like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna die. Where's near, like, dig a hole and put me in it. I cannot believe this shit. So I just walked like all nonchalantly to the curtains and I'm trying to like jerk them closed and then I was like, come on. And then I closed them all and I sat in the dark in my fucking office for 30 minutes. I didn't even turn the light. I was just like, sit there, shame. Like, because you know they're out there cutting the lawn being like, that lady was fucking a pillow. What is going on? Nothing, sir. And it would be weirder if I walked outside and I was like, hey, it's not what it looked like. I was trying to figure out how to give some girl anal while she's fucking someone else. You know what I mean? Like, that's not normal either. You know what I mean? So I was like, never mind. Like, yeah. So that was my day.
What if you had just leaned into it and like, wow, he saw like.
I wish that I was that cool. Like I look at him, we make the eye contact, and I keep going. Like, just hey.
Yes, exactly.
I point at him like, you're next. You know what I mean? He's like, ah!
All of a sudden, you start playing Pony by Genuine.
Yeah.
That just starts blasting.
Oh my God, poor guy. So
a hand on the window.
I am dying.
I fog it.
I would
over my mouth. I'm like, let it down. Like it was so embarrassing. And then I almost peed my pants telling my husband because I called him first. And I was like, oh my God, this just happened to me. And
You're like, we need to hire new landscapers. Is what
You're like, first of all, we need new landscapers.
I was like, there was like no noise on the phone. He like had no reaction. He was like, that's crazy. He's like, I love you. I'll call you later. And then I did a whole bunch of like, I was like, this is the content that Stacey wanted. I was like, so I called Stacey and I was like, do I actually talk about this on the internet? And she was like, yes. And I was like, fuck me. So then I made content everywhere. And then I was laughing so hard though while I was doing it that I was almost peeing my pants because it was just every time I kept thinking about the ridiculousness of the situation. Like I was like, what is happening? And then he came home that night and I was like, can you believe that happened to me? And then he just kissed my forehead and was like, do you want to have Chinese tonight? I was like, okay.
He's like, so you do. This is who I am.
He was like, bitch, this is on brand for you. I don't understand why you're acting like it's crazy.
Right? Don't you love that when you're like, I cannot believe this actually happened, and your significant other is like, yes, I actually can believe because this is who you are as a person.
I say it all the time. I'm like, how much more ridiculous can this get? And he's like, I don't know. I've been asking myself that for 20 years. Just keeps getting better. Like I just think wild shit, and he just goes along with it. He's like, oh, Trilina. Like he's so even mannered and like so chill. And like if I were to be like, I hit the lottery for $3 billion, he'd be like, that's amazing. Fantastic. You should call a financial advisor. Like he's
that would be Gigi's husband.
Is there something like how long have you been on antidepressants? Like it's like he's like and he just never like has like he's never yelled at me ever in our whole entire relationship. That man has never called me a name or yelled at me ever. He's always like if I were to tell him I want all the azaleas in these yards gone in our neighborhood, I hate them, he would figure out a way to get all those azaleas in our yard gone for me. Like that's how he is. Like whatever I want, I get. Like he's like, if my baby wants it, my baby gets it. Like that's
yes, I love that.
I love that.
He also like no big huge emotional swings, right? So if you're like, I've seen him cry. He cried for the birth of every one of our children, which was I was like, are you okay? And he's like, I mean, we had a baby, and I was like, oh
yeah. Wait a minute.
Right, got it.
Like and he with his words always like I love yous and all that kind of stuff, like all that. He's great about that stuff, but he just doesn't have. So he's just used to me, but it just must be. I think to myself, he must just look at me and be like, I must look like a hamster on a wheel. You know what I mean? Just like...
Does he read your books? Does your husband read your books?
Absolutely not. I don't want him to. No.
Yeah, I just didn't know if you're like, hey, let's listen to this scene. Does this make sense?
No, I read him like the funny stuff. Like I'll joke, tell me if you think it's funny. And if I can get laugh out of him, like if I actually get like I'm like, oh, I'm so funny. Like, if he's like sugar. Like he'll be quiet for the longest period of time, and then all of a sudden he'll say something, and the whole fucking room will erupt because it's
Right? That's a girl.
Just waits for his moment. You know what I mean? He just yeah. So no, I don't let him read them because I don't like. It's embarrassing. I get embarrassed. Like I know I write dirty stuff, but like, and I really put my whole Badussi into that shit. But like I get embarrassed. Like watching Magic Mike or like 50 Shades on TV. Like I turn bright red.
No, you do not.
Yeah, no, it's
Really?
I get really embarrassed. Like I was just earlier this morning, I had a meeting about doing like NSFW art, like not suitable for like dirty art, and I was trying to explain to the artist about the position, and I was like stumbling over, and they were like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "I'm just so embarrassed, like just saying this out loud, like just telling you, I was like, oh my god, like I was having to hide my face, like I felt so embarrassed." Like listening to the audio, trying to check the audio almost did me under. I thought I was gonna die. I was like, "Oh no, I need to stop." Like I was.
That's hilarious considering like the stuff that you write is,
I know.
I mean, some of it is nasty and I love it.
Yeah.
But like I have 100% read excerpts from your book out loud to my husband, like funny, dirty, all of it. And he'll be like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah. They're always like, is that really what you want? And you're like, yes, bitch.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen to this. Because your books are like laugh out loud funny.
Exhausting. But like I don't know. It's not embarrassing when I'm writing it and I'm in my head about it. When I'm writing it, it feels actually kind of communal. Like I'm writing it and I can picture how you guys are going to react.
Yeah.
So it's like coming up with a good joke to tell your friends, or like you can't wait to tell them the thing that you did on a Saturday night. Like when you have a wild Saturday night and then you see everybody at Sunday brunch and you're like, come around. Like you can't wait to tell them. That's what writing a book feels like to me. Like I'm about to just give this to all my girlfriends and they're about to be like, shut the fuck. And we're all getting hee, and like we're giggling. But like, I get embarrassed, like, if anyone reads it out loud to me, or, like, if I hear, like, I can't do audio, I get too embarrassed to do audio, like, I can't hear the dirty stuff, like, from anyone, really, it just makes me feel so, I get too red, I'm getting red talking about it, like, I get too red, my cheeks get too red, I get smiley, giggly, dumb, and, like, I could never watch porn, like, when I was first writing, people would say, writers are always like, oh, if you get in a space where you don't know what to write, you should just watch porn for, like, inspiration, and I was like, I can't do that. I can't watch that.
I was going to ask how, like, if that was, like.
I tried once and I almost died. Like,
you were like, ah!
I had sweat marks on my sweater. Like, I was dying. Like, I can't do. And there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's wonderful and healthy for people. Like, do your thing, man. Like, get your kink. Do your thing. Do whatever makes you happy. I don't care. But I can't. I have a hard time. I mean, I've had sex before, so it's not like I'm pulling it out of my ass. Like, I don't know what I'm doing, like a rabbit out of a hat. Like, is this how it goes? Like,
Yeah. I do just want to say one more thing about the landscaper. I think that the next time he comes to the house, I want you to just go in the yard, roll up a 20, and slip it in his pocket without saying anything else. Let's see what comes of that.
I would die. I feel like I have to burn my house down so they never come again. Like I'm not even gonna be here. I already made like plans to be out of here. And the funny part is they're supposed to come on Fridays, but they came yesterday because we have like a thing that we were doing tonight, so I wanted them done. And I'm so embarrassed that I didn't even remember that, or I would have like closed all my windows. But yeah, I'm gonna hide in my basement when they come. I hope
Or lean into it completely. Make it even more awkward.
Your husband's gonna come home and you're gonna be like, so how do you feel about just like cementing the entire yard? Maybe we just don't have grass.
I'm gonna go out into the porch and we have a couch with all these pillows on it. I'm just gonna go and pick up each pillow and like look at it, hold it down.
Yeah.
Men in Black, like, fucking
erase it. Like, this never happened. Meanwhile, and Shug, it cracks me up that you're saying that because we are both the type of people that, like, anytime we go somewhere, we get home and we're like, what the fuck did I just do? What did I say? We are like chronic overthinkers of stuff like that. And she's like, lean into it. Slip them a 20.
This is what I would do in my head. But in real life, I would not.
Oh my god.
Okay. How do you feel about Harry Styles?
How do I feel about him? Like, about his music or about him in general?
This is
Anything.
this is the part where it gets awkward, guys. Jesus. These two are so uncomfortably obsessed with Harry Styles.
Okay, so I think that Harry Styles has a real appeal to him. Like, I think he has incredible charisma. I think he's a good performer. I think he's boyishly flirtatious in the way that older women love. Because men.
She just called us older women, Shug.
I mean,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, like actually people that like are actual people. You know, like actual women.
Yeah.
Like, you're 18, you're not an actual woman yet. Like,
No.
all your parts are the actual woman part. But like, trust me, because I'm 48, so from 48 to 18, not. There's a huge fucking difference in what happens to you.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
So I think that like in his, because I don't even know how old he is. What is he in his 20s?
How old
No,
is
he's
he?
in his 30s.
No.
He's 30, but not his
I'm
birth
Googling
age.
that right now.
Age doesn't matter.
Oh shit, he's 30 years old. That's wild. So that's so interesting because he has a boyish charm to him. That makes
He
me feel
does.
hot. Okay, it could be the jumpsuits that are, whatever. They look like toddler onesies a little bit, but
You're not wrong.
it's fine. But I look at him from afar, okay? Because I look at him like there are two types of men that women like. This is what, from a romance novelist perspective, there are two types of men that women like. They like men who feel boyish, like fun. And when I say boyish, I mean fun. Like the things that you didn't maybe get when you were that age. Like the boy who would tackle you onto your couch when you dated him in high school, or the one that would throw you over your shoulder, or the one that would make you go skinny dipping with him in the lake. You either get like the flirtatious, like fun-loving golden retriever, which is what Harry Styles is. He's fun-loving, golden retriever. He makes you feel like you would feel pretty around him all the time. Like you would just feel pretty. Like because he would make you feel pretty. He would do stuff like play with the ends of your hair when he talked to you. He would wink at you. He would tickle you. He would do fun things like that. And we all love that because as boys grow into men, they do that less and less. So then we think about the things that we wish that we had there. Like we wish that our 40-year-old husband still did those things. And every once in a while you get a playful guy like that. But most of the times they become a little less playful. Then on the opposite side, then it goes the 180. On the other side of the coin is the grown-ass man with chest hair, who is grumpy, who says things to you in like one-line sentences, and you're like, oh, like where he says things like that show, Virgin River that was on.
Yeah.
Everybody they didn't even care about the plot because when that man was following that woman and the guy was like, you can't go there, he's like, I go where she goes. Like, and it was a period at the end of that. Like, I'm going where she goes. And everybody was like, oh, they lost it. It doesn't matter that did not look like a guy that would deliver a line like that. Everybody was losing their mind over that line because it's like, you want both of those things. It's a rare occasion to find both of them. Like, and I don't mean in like the people you date, but like when you're watching these things on TV. So everybody that loves Harry Styles loves playful guys. You want someone to play with you and to smile at you like that and to tell you you're pretty and to think that you might lay on a yacht while he kissed your belly in the sunshine.
I mean,
like a perfect thing to do, right? He also comes with like huge commitment issues. And a really fragile ego, and sometimes like coke addictions. Like they have
I'm dying.
So when I look at Harry Styles, do I love his music? Yeah, it feels fun and sexy, and I love Watermelon Sugar High. Like, yay, you know what I mean? But pussy tastes like pussy, not like watermelon. But it's fine. But he has that fun about him, and so yeah, I think he's adorable. Do I find him attractive? I think he's a good-looking kid because he feels like a kid. He feels fun and flirtatious. I like him. I prefer them a little broader shouldered. I don't want to wear the same size jeans as you do.
Yeah,
that doesn't mean he's not attractive. He's a super hot looking guy, but like he's not for me because like I don't find him like I'm not like, oh fuck, because I want to feel like you could actually hold me by the throat. And I break his hand. Like,
no, we do not want to.
I could just hurt his feelings. That's the thing.
Yeah,
for me. It's like I feel like I could probably hurt your feelings. We're not going to last.
We do not wear the same size of jeans. Like I wear much larger jeans than Harry Styles for sure. So I'm the one that can grab him by the throat. Like
That's just it. Yeah, Suge's the throat grabber of that situation. So
yeah.
she's like, let's go, Harry.
Yeah. Well, and also that's maybe he could be a good boy for you. But I mean, I think that there's times in our lives though where like it's really fun. Like, who in here read Filthy Little Pretties?
Me.
So there are times in our life where we want a Liam,
Ugh.
and there are times in our life where we want a Gray. And those are the same guy, just a different side of the coin. And it's
loved that book.
Sometimes it's nice to have. It's a hard thing to find. Like, Harry flirts well. He flirts to the camera well. He flirts to people in the audience well. He feels considerate because he remembers all the fucking people that pay $1,000 every show to show up with the same fucking sign. Like, he remembers their names. Like, that's insane.
No, he really remembers us.
That's what I'm saying. He remembers people. He remembers you. He knows you. He has your picture in his room.
Yes.
Don't feed into this.
Rhythm. I'll never forget her. Like, it was, but like that is like it's one of those things. But I think that we like. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But we like to have those moments where we feel it makes us. Women like to feel girlish sometimes. Sometimes I want to feel like you're gonna run after me and chase me and tickle me and be like and then nuzzle my neck and that's such a we're so cute.
Oh, I don't want that at all.
You know what I mean? Like, and he feels like he would do that. You know?
I don't want that.
Oh, I want that.
That icks me.
Look at her. I mean,
I just imagine myself in the streets of Italy, running, him chasing me falling, him picking me up, taking me home, bandaging my wounds.
I was thinking more of a beach, less cobblestone with heels. But, you know, that's cool. That's cool. Like, whatever floats your boat.
Oh my God. So you brought up Filthy Little Pretties.
Yeah.
Which I loved. I am the like prep school book person of this group. I love those like that like genre, I guess, because and they get, you know, Gigi will say, she's like, you know, sometimes it's weird because they're like kids, but they're not kids. Like none of these people read like when I was 18 years old by any means.
You guys read differently. So like you read and you can put yourself, you don't necessarily put yourself in the position of the character.
Right.
So you're reading the fiction and you're kind of, and like you, Mars, you're reading the fiction and you're like in it to read the fiction and you can like feel sentimental about a time in which was sentimental to you, maybe like high school or whatever. Like you can think about that, but outside of it, like you're watching a movie.
Yes.
I bet reads and self-inserts a lot.
Oh God, yeah. I'm like head first.
No. Right. See, I'm on the
self-insert and they read, it's weird to read a book about an 18-year-old because you're like, I'm hot over an 18-year-old boy. Like you can't you're not watching the movie. It's not like watching a TV show. You feel like you're wanting to fuck an 18-year-old and that's weird. Yeah.
I had literally never thought of it that way. That is exactly how I read. I read like I'm watching a movie, not necessarily like you just blew my mind.
Yeah, it always makes me laugh because online, if you go like onto Book Talk and stuff, people have a lot of like, you know, it's a very contentious like environment for like reading a prep school book, right? People are like, you're disgusting, you're a pet. Nobody's reading these books and trolling a fucking high school, okay? Like,
no,
right. You're not like, wow, I'm really inspired to hang out at this fucking football field. That's not happening. But they are going back into a time and kind of like for the same reason we go back and watch shows, right? That like were our favorites in high school or whatever. You watch like, you know, the shows on TV like Gossip Girl or whatever. When you watch them, you're watching them and you're watching from the outside and you're remembering times or you're like putting yourself maybe back in the position of being in high school, thinking about that time, but you're not in that position. Like,
I'm unwell.
Like, oh my God, you're so fucking hot at 17. Like that's not it.
Right. No, that's
I was 17 and you were 17. Oh my God, I'm living my life again. Like it's a different kind of thought process. People don't understand that because everybody thinks that. I think in general, this is a big like macro observation, but in general, I think people have a really hard time realizing that their perception is not everybody's perception. So like what's happening to me has to be happening to everybody else.
Right.
Especially we're in this community of books together, right? Like how I read, you read. And if I think this, you think this. And if this is right, then it's not right for you. Like it's right for me. It has to be right for you. Like people don't ignore my dog. I'm sorry. I can't make them stop barking. Nobody can ever understand. Like we literally exist in our own tiny little bubbles in our own tiny little experiences. And it can be completely opposite from what somebody else's experience is. They don't get that. So they have a hard time like finding the nuance and like coalescing why people would like these things and how they don't and how somebody does.
Yeah, because I love that. I read a ton of books like that. But yeah, it's never been like a thing for me because you're right. I'm not like driving up to the high school being like, beep, beep, boys, get in.
Right.
Which one of you is going to go schmurder for me?
Well, yeah,
Like,
because
that's
nowadays it's way more hot for Harry Styles because he's more that age demographic than, you know what I mean?
I just, and I loved how, what got me with, I always say pretty little filthies. I always mix up the two words. Filthy little pretties. I'm sorry. But how it said it was like the mix of Cruel Intentions and Gossip Girl. And
Yeah.
I was a huge Gossip Girl fan.
Me too.
And I was also like at the same time as Gossip Girl was Pretty Little Liars.
Yeah.
And I loved that show too. And like my husband would make fun of me and he would be like, Gossip Girl is A. You know, he would like mix the two.
Right.
And so like whenever I read that, I was like, sold, done. Like I will read this book. I will read it right now and no one can stop me. And it was that it was
books. They're my favorite, but I don't think that they like appealed to the like in this audience, especially for indie prep school books. They're like 98% of them, and I think I'm being generous. I'm not. Yeah, I'm being conservative. Like I feel like 98% of them are bully romance.
Yes, a lot of them are.
So I just had a contemporary prep school book that went out, and it was really hard to find the audience for it. Like because I think that it would have done better trad actually, but it was a really hard place to because they were like, well, how spicy is it? And it's kind of moderately spicy, but not really, you know, and the book itself was just kind of like there was no big like he doesn't tell her he's gonna kill her in the beginning and all his friends try to hunt her and then they fall in love. Like it's nothing like that happens.
Right, that's how a lot of them start.
It's just, like, kids, like doing dumb shit and they have credit cards and they just like are, you know, where are the parents? Nobody knows. They're in
No one knows. There's never any parents ever in these books
like,
ever.
Chanel dresses and like really snarky banter, and I loved it. I absolutely loved it. So I had the most fun writing those books, and I wish that I could have kept writing them, but it was hard to find a really good audience that like could understand what that really like wanted to take a bite out of it. So
if you do write another one, I will read it. I have to read Caroline's book still because I'm a big mood reader. So like if I read one, then like the next I'm like, okay, I need to read something different. But everybody
hated her too, and nobody wanted to give her. They were like, she's.
Oh, see, no, I hated her, but I want to read her book because I hate her. Like because I hated her. Although I also think that like there's obviously way more to her than you get in the first book. Like
there is, but the funny thing about that is everybody still likes to hate her, and I'm always like, she's the only character in the entire book, in both books, that tells the truth.
Yes.
She's the only people just don't like to hear the truth.
Yeah. Oh, now I'm like, fuck whatever I'm reading, and I'm gonna go.
My favorite character to write. Yeah.
Yeah, I loved it. So yes,
reading it. I love it so much. Yeah.
Big fan.
I want to know, we both also then read Truth. That was your first book, right?
Yeah, don't make me talk about that.
We won't make you, but I liked it.
I did too.
Listen, it's a good book, but I feel like it's the first one that I ever really wrote. It's not the first one that I wrote. I wrote a book called Come Back to Me and Forever with Me. We're not talking about the titles, let it go. But they were I thought that they were the longest books ever because that's my first book I ever wrote. And it was wet. And it was like romantic suspense. And I was so into it. And it was right after like I read 50 Shades and I was like, I could do this because that's what I suffer from that. I see somebody like do a back handspring and I'm like, how hard could that be? I could do that. Like, I'm gonna break my neck. So I wrote this book and that's what got me started. People actually bought it and they were reading it. And I was like, why? What's happening? Oh my God, I'm a genius. I'm so good at this. Like, I thought I was the greatest. I was like, look at me selling 10 books. Like, I thought I was incredible. So then I went on and I wrote Truth and I got better at that, right? You have to write to get better. You can't just think about it and take a class. That doesn't work. You have to do the craft in order to be better at the craft. So by the time I went from Truth to Worship to Depraved, what I love is through that whole series, I don't think I've had anyone ever say that it gets worse as it goes. Everyone's like, every book just keeps getting better and better. Well, yeah, because I get better and better. Like I was just what my tells were and how to craft something better and how to use better words and really searching that adjective box and like, and like I was really trying to be a better writer as I went. And so I feel like I nailed it by the time I got to Depraved. Like nailed Mafia because they're Mafia books, but they're not Mafia books. You know what I mean?
Like I didn't feel like it was an overwhelming. Yeah.
No, it's not. And it's not in your face. I wrote about guys that happen to be in the Mafia. And
Right.
that's what you get is guys, and it's just like these big family dinners, and he's like, he's a killer. But I mean, it is hot. I'm not gonna lie, like it is, but it could be hotter. Like I write hotter now, and I feel like now I'm kind of in my groove of writing. Like I don't really second guess myself as much, and so they could be hotter, and so that bugs me a little. And for truth, there's a period of time where I kind of page break. Like there's a first part of the story and then a part 2 of the story. I thought I was so genius for that, so dumb. But like I would actually, if I could go back, I would fill in the in-betweens. Like what happened.
Yeah.
So I
Well,
would,
if you
give,
ever-
I would give the longing and the angst a little bit, and like maybe she
Yeah.
saw him out, and that's what triggered her to think about him, and like he saw her with someone and was fucking angry, like all of the stuff. Like I would give you the buildup for their groveling scene, because I literally, he's like, I don't want to spoil it for anyone to read it, but he goes and says something, and she splits, and then all of a sudden they're back together. So like I would love to give the middle. Yeah.
What made you all of a sudden go, all right, so, you know, it's like we got mafia, prep school, and then you're like, bunch of dudes banging one chick. Like, what went off in your brain that you were like, this is where I'm going to go?
Gigi, I feel like if you haven't paid attention to my personality, I'm a little all over the place. So I did like romantic suspense, right? And so then I just knew that I liked a bad guy. Like I liked a dominant kind of, you know, I was born on 50 Shades. I wasn't really a reader before this. I did Twilight, was perpetually horny. Okay. They never had sex. I was super mad. I went out at the middle of the night. Barnes & Noble was open at 11 p.m. And I went out at 11 p.m. and bought that fucking book because I was like, they gotta fucking this one, right? They gotta fucking this one. They just got married. They gotta fucking this one. And I'm reading it in the middle of the night in my house. And it's like they walk into the water and then he breaks the headboard. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was so mad. I was like, forget you, Stephanie Meyer. Like, I was so angry. And so after I read Twilight, then of course I graduated right into 50 Shades, right? Because that was coming out and that was all the rage. So I was like, what's this? And then I read it and I was like, what is that? People read this? I had never read a book this novel in my life. And then I was like, how do I do more of this? So I was just reading all the wild shit. Like I went through like vampire romances and like werewolf. I was reading all kinds of wild, good ones and very bad ones. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I didn't care though. But then it felt like I'd literally been in the midst of a gangbang because I was like overkill. I was like, that's enough. You know, I'm tired. This girl's tired, you know? Give me an ice pack and some Advil. Like I need a break. So I took a step back and I read some like other stuff. And then like YA thrillers and like suspenses and like nonfiction. I was like, let me get my head out of the gutter for a minute. Like, and I just went all over the place. And then I was like, you know what? I feel like I could write a book. And I won't get into how I started writing, but that's just like, I was like, I think I can. And it graduated into it. I wrote the first one. And then I was like, what I know is that I like a bad guy. I like a dominant guy. I like writing him. So then it was just for my pleasure. I wrote Truth because I liked a bad dude. And then I wrote Worship because my friend was like, write something more romantic. Really worst wishes for her. I was like, okay. So I made Luca more romantic. Yeah. And then I got into Depraved and I was like, we're going back for me. And I made Dante super fucking alpha. And I was like, you're so hot. And then when I wrote that, I was like, oh, I love this. And then I was tired of writing alpha dominant dudes. And I think at the time I was rewatching Gossip Girl. And I was like, I want to have a plaid skirt. And I was like in my era of Gossip Girl again. So I was like, fuck it, I'll write something like that. Did that. And so I'm a mood writer. Like I just, whatever I'm in the mood for. And I had written Star-Crossed, which was the most beautiful book I've ever written in my life. And I'm so proud of that book. So if you read anything, that's what you need to read. It's just like
Star-Crossed.
It does not get the play that it should get. I don't get it. I've never been able to find the audience for it. It's too far past now.
I'm not even gonna lie that like when I've searched your name on Kindle, I don't remember even seeing it.
Yeah. It doesn't get searched enough. Like it's the best. Listen, you're going to read it and that's it. You'll be done. You'll be like, this is the most beautiful duet.
Oh my God.
Everybody does. It has great ratings. That book is so fun.
I'm putting it in my Kindle right now.
So good that I die. And it's actually the perfect book for like, even though she's in high school, he's out of high school and nobody has ever felt like, even people with like, I don't like to read young. Nobody's ever felt like they're young because you graduate through their life.
Okay.
From like, right at the end of high school all the way to like the book ends. Well, I don't tell you how the book ends, but like you go to like 25, 20, 30, 50, like you go.
Yeah.
So like, it's just a
borrowed.
I love this book. Anyway, so I wrote that, had a book writing hangover, could not write a damn thing, was like still in that world, always daydreaming about it. There's nothing to write after. I wasn't going to write it, but I just loved it so much. And finally my people that work for me were like, "Are you ever going to write again? Because you should probably put out a book." People, you mean this is what you do for a living, so this is awkward. You know. And my friend Abby was like, "You should just write comedy because you're really funny." And I was like, "No, I'm funny in person, but like on paper, I don't know." And she's like, "You should." And I was like, "Nah." And she's like, "Do it." And so I was like, "All right, fine, whatever, fuck it." And so I wrote Tangled in Tinsel, and I figured it would not do anything, but it would just be something funny. And I didn't want to write like Christmassy, like, oh, throwing snowballs at each other. That felt like everybody does that. So I was like, I want to do something dirty. I'll do like a Why Choose. I'd never written a Why Choose, but I was like, that's only in dark romances. I'll make it Christmas. It'll be fun. And I just wrote it for shits and giggles, literally for shits and giggles.
You got the giggles.
Oh my gosh.
I'm gonna talk Tangled in Tinsel, and then unfortunately I have to go pick my kids up. So I'm gonna let the other two finish. But I have to say, I read this book for our book club. I was like pre-screening books for a while, you know, that lasted like a month. And I read this one and I was like, guys, this is the book. Like, this is our holiday book. It was laugh out loud funny. I was dying, and I've talked about it. Anytime we talk about Tangled in Tinsel, I bring up the scene where she's crawling out of the bed and she's like, I'm gonna get fucking pink eye, because I could not stop laughing, because at the time all of our kids had pink eye. And I like, it was running rampant through our kids' schools. So, like, my kids had it and Gigi's kids had it. Like, we had all just been like going through pink eye. And she's like, she's like, I get poked in the eye with a dick. And she's like, I'm going to get pink eye. I remember sitting in my bed, like my husband's sleeping, and I was silently laughing so hard that I could not breathe. Like, that book, and I love reverse harm. Like, that is my favorite. I love to read that because, like, why not? The more the merrier. In books, just to be clear. So I read it, and I remember like texting Gigi and being like, this is probably one of the funniest books I've ever read. Like, it was so funny. And I kept I was like, oh, it's a novella. It's really short. Like, it's a novella. And then we looked it up and I was like, oh, it's not. I was like, I'm just kidding. But it read so, like, it just kept moving. Like, the whole thing was so good that it read like, I was like, oh, it was really short. And then I'm like, oh, it's not. But it was just, I love that book, and I cannot wait.
I wrote it in short story style, but I couldn't explain that to people, so I just called it a novella because I knew they were going to read it fast. It was going to read really fast, but if I said it was a full-blown novel, everybody would be like, no, it's not. Like, because for a real novel, I should have fleshed out the story a little bit more, but for a short story, it's exactly how it should be written. And so I knew that I was writing it in that style, but nobody would understand that, so I just lied and said it was novella.
I loved that book.
I knew people would get through it really quick. They would read through it fast. It's meant to be fast. And so I got called out a couple times. It's 300 pages. That's not a novella. And I was like, shut up.
It doesn't matter.
I don't care. We read it. Before I unfortunately sign off, I have one more thing to say to you, because I know Gigi's going to talk about 3 Ways to Mend a Broken Heart. And I have to tell you that my favorite part of that one is when she's drunk in the pool and she is on the flamingo raft. But she's like, don't forget my chicken.
Go get my pink chicken. Go get my pink chicken.
That's what I have to say about that, because I love that one, and I'm sorry I have to go. I'll let these other two continue talking to you, though. But thank you so much. I had a lot of fun talking to you.
I had fun talking to you.
Enjoy. Have fun, guys.
We will, because I'm going to talk about Not So Lucky. So I read Not So Lucky before I read Tangled in Tinsel.
Love that.
I think I read that book in like one night. I just like devoured it. I loved just everything about it. So Eleanor and Crew.
God, I love her. Yeah.
Right?
I love her. Yeah.
I'm obsessed with her. So the fact, though, that TJ and Nate are in that book, and the way that you wrote, like, they had spicy scenes together. I won't give everything away, but like the fact that you still fucking love them and you're like, ooh, I can't, like, and then 3 Ways to Mend a Broken Heart came out. Like, you blew my mind. Like, the minute it came out, I was just like gobbling it up with a spoon. Like, I could not.
It was something that was a conversation that I did have, like, people had with me, like my team. They were like, do you think people are going to balk at the fact that TJ and Nate were participating in like spicy things with Eleanor, and now they're the heroes for Millie, like her friends? Like, will they be able to, like, kind of, like,
get past that?
Be like, oh, can that be okay? And I was like, I feel like women in general are okay as long as their friend gives the okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I go, so as long as Eleanor is like, dude, 5 stars, 5 out of 5 would recommend.
Right?
Out. Like, because she has no attraction to them anymore and she's made her decision to be with crew.
Mm-hmm.
So like, they were just fun for the night. So they're meaningless to her. So if you have a little dalliance, I'm like, because I have a lot of friends who are single and we'll all go to dinner and someone's like, oh my God, I matched this hot guy. Look at him. And they show our picture and my girlfriend across the table is like, oh my God, I went out with him like a month ago. And she's like, wait, red flags? And she's like, no. He was totally fine. Super good kisser. But like, I just can't, like, you know, I don't love the movie thing and he loves the movie thing. And like, and she's like, oh my God, I love the movie. She's like, he'll be perfect for you. Like, they trade that shit like fucking Pokemon cards. They don't care. Yep. So I was like, I don't think that anyone's gonna have a problem with it as long as the friend is like, hey, go for it. So yeah.
That was one of my favorite parts about it.
And I really liked the characters and I felt like it closed it up, like that world up well, because that was it. Like I was done writing the last one and I wanted to go out with a bang, you know.
But is it? Because you have recently teased things.
Well, Tangled was never supposed to be like, I was never writing anything more than Tangled. Like I was going to do Tangled. I had no expectation for how it would do. I thought that maybe a couple people pick it up and they might like laugh, whatever. We'll see how it goes. And then it like it exploded. And I was like, oh my God, what do I do? And my friend was like, see, bitch, I told you were funny. And I was like, uh-oh. And then I was like, what do I do now? And everyone's like, write Eleanor. And I was like, I can't write Eleanor. Because, I mean, I don't know if I've ever said this, but, like, Eleanor is my personality. Like, those are my jokes. Like, that's how I would answer people. Like, that is my whole entire messy, wild-ass personality. Like, some of the shit...
Well, I love you, then, because I love Eleanor.
I mean, I'm from Vegas. Like, that's my hometown. And so, like, when I'm writing it, like, some of the things in that book where, like, I would send it to one of my very best friends who still lives in Vegas, and I would be like, look what I put in there. And she'd be like, shut the fuck up, because it was stuff we did. Like, it wasn't. So I was like, like, I was laughing to myself.
Wait, did you get married in Vegas?
I have never been married in Vegas. Almost. I'm not gonna lie, almost. But I mean, I did date an NFL player, and I didn't know he was an NFL player.
Oh my God.
And I was in Vegas at the time, like, and we did go to nightclubs and do dumb shit, and we did, you know what I mean? Like, and
yeah.
I mean, I never had an orgy, but I'm not going to say my friends never had. so, like, you know, like, it was, there's stuff, there's wild shit that we did in those books that were like, and so it's funny because as I was writing it, everybody was like, you're writing yourself. Like, that's your joke. And I was like, I know, this is weird. So it was also weird because when I put it out, I was like, if anyone says like, I hate this bitch, I'm going to be like, ooh, no. Because it was like, she's probably the closest to my actual personality with like her sarcasm, like how she would do stuff like that's, and like real nonchalant about everything. Like the Rhino does actually have the best chicken wings in Las Vegas. That's not a made up lie. That's a real thing.
That's fact.
Rhino, they have the best chicken wings. I'm just saying I've had them, and they really do have little bottles, and the girls there are awesome. I've been there.
Noted.
So like I can't like so like it's just kind of a weird thing to write. It felt autobiographical a little bit.
I'll circle back because I'm going to Vegas in January, so I'll let you know.
Yeah, I'll get with some recommendations. You can go to the door and be like, I know Trilina, and they'll be like, that bitch, come on in.
So what? I mean, yeah, you've teased Scrooge, right?
So once I was like, oh, I gotta write Eleanor, right? Like, because that seems to be the normal thing to do from Tangled and Tinsel. So I did Eleanor's book. Then everybody's like, Million TJ. So I was like, fuck. So I wrote that, and then I was like, I'd always thought in my head that I would write after Tangled. I thought I should do another Christmas book, and I was like, but how do I give them more of these people? Because it's really hard.
Yeah.
Because like they're done. Like they're already.
Yeah. If you wrap them up, how do you feel like you can?
What do I do with them? And so then I was like, oh, I know what I'll do with them. And so then it's a Scrooged is a retelling of A Christmas Carol from like Dickens.
Oh my God.
Which nobody really knows yet because I mean it's fine for them to know. It goes out like next week. Everybody's gonna find out. But like it's in the blurb, but like it hasn't really been talked about yet. But like, you know, basically our girl gets visited by the ghost of Christmas past, present, and future because she's lost the spirit of Dickmas. You know what I mean? Like she's lost her spirit.
The spirit of Dickmas.
Because they've broken up. You know what I mean? Like so they want to marry her. And the thing I got from the marriage was I wrote a short story for the Aloha, like some a really nice author invited me.
Yeah.
She invited me to do a short story for the Aloha, like raising a bunch of money, and she raised a ton of money for Hawaii.
That's awesome.
The short story is them going to the day after Christmas, going to Hawaii for Christmas, and in that story, they ask her to marry them. But you only know that if you bought that short story. And
yeah.
I told everybody I would never publish it. You can only get it here. So it
Yeah.
raised a lot of money, which is great. But I am using a small portion of it to get a context because they've asked her to marry him. Then she said yes, and now she's backing out, and that's why they're broken up. And now she's got to get her spirit back, guys. And what better
You
man
have
the ghost of Christmas past and present, and Marley, of course, the boss, which is cool.
you have created outrage on social media. People are like, wait a minute, what's happening?
I got emails. Like, people that know me were like texting me, what the fuck, Trilina? I was like,
what did you do?
Yeah.
And then you have to make us all.
Yeah, it's good.
When does that book come out?
December 1st.
December 1st. All right. Well, I mean, it's gonna we're gonna read that immediately.
Listen, it's probably more pornographic than Tangled because each boy has a sex scene this time, and then like individually because they're the ghost of, so we got to like do some editing.
Each ghost has a sex scene.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because each ghost is one of the boys.
Yeah. Remember, she didn't read it, so it's
right. Ghost of Christmas, whatever, is one of the boys from the book. They come as the ghost of Christmas, because it's all in her head. It's fine.
Pun intended, right?
It all makes sense later, but yeah. So it's a fun kind of fantastical. We're really leaning into fiction. It's really fantasy based, and it's just kind of a fun little jaunt back into the world.
I cannot wait for that.
And it's just pure ass erotica. Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yeah, there's like 7 sex scenes in the book. It's ridiculous.
Yes. What percentage of the book is sex scenes? Is it like 70%?
It's probably more than that because there's literally like every chapter has one, and there are only like 7 chapters, 8 chapters. It's like parts, not really chapters, but like parts. So there are only 7 parts, 7 sex scenes, and it starts on chapter 1.
Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
Nobody can see me, but I'm bowing down right now.
Christmas. Yeah.
Listen, landscaper, she was doing it. This is truly.
We're going out with a bang. Why not?
Literally. Well, on that note, speaking of going out, we appreciate you so much, and we cannot wait to read that. And just thank you for being with us. This was great.
Of course. I'm happy.
You can find us on Kinks Out Podcast on Instagram, Facebook. Do you have your TikTok? Do you want to share?
Oh, just search
what your Instagram?
There's no other Trilina. It's fine. It sounds narcissistic. I don't mean it like that. I really recognize your name.
There's no other.
There isn't, and we know that. But yeah, seriously, thanks again. You rescheduled with us a few times, so we appreciate you for that, and we're so excited to have you on here.
Worries.
Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time.